Yes, lads, welcome back to the channel. Today, we have got the EFL preview, League 1 and League 2 only this week, but the action that we've got lined up is unbelievable. Some great games across both leagues. I'll be covering 3 in more detail from each league, but of course, also going over the other results as well. So let's get into it. Let's start with League 2. So starting up first, we're going to go for Notts County up against Fleetwood. And I think this game is going to be 2-2. I can see goals being in it. Notts County at the moment, defensively, they look okay, but going forward, in particular, Matthew Dennis, they look a real force to be reckoned with. I think he's got to be the key player for me. I looked at other players. I couldn't quite give it to anyone just because even though he didn't score the second last week, he was instrumental in the build-up. He is their live wire. He's their main man. The new signing this season has hit the ground running. As for Fleetwood, I was impressed by Ethan Ennis last week, so I'm going to go for him to make a bit of a difference again. As I say, there's going to be goals in this game. I just feel as though Notts County at home, not necessarily what they used to be as well. Fleetwood have had a good start to the season. It's not been bad for them. I'm expecting them to build on that, but Notts County, 2 goals they'll score, 2 goals Fleetwood will score. We've got a stalemate. Sitting on the fence maybe a little bit if I had to call it. Would I go for Notts County to get the win? More so than Fleetwood, but I think this has got draw written all over it. 2-2, the final score. Salford now up against Tranmere. I've got this one. Salford 1, Tranmere 2. I think Tranmere have got what it takes to go to Salford and get all 3 points. It's been good off the pitch for Salford. I think they've had a good transfer window, but on the pitch, there has been a few moments where they haven't looked necessarily like a team that's going to be gunning for promotion. Of course, in midweek, the 2-0 win in the EFL Cup against Wigan. Prior to that, struggling Cheltenham held to a draw. That's why I think Tranmere, quite the contrary, really good form, looking like a very solid side. Yes, they lost to Notts County 2-1 last weekend, but I think they will bounce back. They had chances to draw that game level, if not go on and get the winner. They didn't take them. Will they take them this weekend? Key player-wise, for Salford, I'm going to go for Ben Woodburn. He's made a good start to the season. He just looks to me like everything goes through him in that 10 position really suits him. As for Tranmere, I can't pick Amari Patrick every single week, even though I'd love to, so I'm going to go with someone different. And that man is Charlie Whittaker. It can't all be Amari Patrick that runs the show every single week. Charlie Whittaker, he's had a good start to the season, in my opinion, looked solid last week. I'm going to go for him to make the difference, but of course, Amari Patrick will be in and around the goals, however they go in. So those 2 for me to make a big difference for Tranmere, and as I say, Ben Woodburn to drive Salford to a win, maybe. Not for me. I've gone for 2-1 to Tranmere. Lastly, we've got Walsall up against Chesterfield. I see this as Walsall 1, Chesterfield 2. Maybe a bit crazy considering the week we've had. Of course, Walsall picked up that 1-0 win against MK Dons. What a win that was for them. Miles Roberts, the standout of the show, kept the clean sheet, gave Walsall all 3 points. However, midweek, they also won against Shrewsbury 3-1. So this Walsall side we'd seen at the start of the season that looked all right, now looking quite strong. Chesterfield, quite the opposite. The 2-2 draw against Crawley, they'll be disappointed to not go on and get all 3 against Crawley. And then, of course, midweek, Crew 7, Chesterfield 1. They will bounce back. I think that this is a bit of an obvious one to say Walsall are going to get the win. I don't think they will. As I say, 2-1 to Chesterfield. And one of the reasons for that is going to be my key player for Chesterfield. It's going to be Armando Dobra. Made a great start to the season. Looks such a live wire. If it's going to go through anyone, it looks as though it will go through him. Of course, last time out, Dobra, that wonderful finish against Crawley, stepped into it, right foot into the side netting. So I'm expecting him to do similar things against this Walsall side to drive his team to 3 points. Of course, though, we mentioned Miles Roberts having a fantastic season himself. Can he keep the goals out? If he can, who's going to score them for Watford? I'm looking at Aaron Presley to be their key player. Genuinely, I'm a big fan of Presley. I think he's going to have a good season for Walsall. He'll want to get those numbers up. This is a chance too. If anyone's going to get the goal for me, it's going to be him. Whatever happens, I don't think Walsall are going to have enough at home, which isn't necessarily the place it once was for them. Therefore, 2-1 to Chesterfield, winners on the day. As for the rest of League 2 then, Newport up against Bristol Rovers. Bristol Rovers probably favourites going into this. Newport having a tough time of things at the moment. I'm going to go for 1-1. The Newport performances haven't been as bad as the results have been. Therefore, it's got to stop at some point. 1-1. Barnet up against Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury, of course, having a tough start to life in League Two. Barnet also, it's not all been sunshine and rainbows for them since they got promoted. Promotion meets relegation. Who comes out on top on this one? I'm going to go for 1-1. Barrow now up against Swindon. Barrow not having the best time in League Two as of late. Swindon, of course, they are absolutely flying themselves. I'm going to go for Barrow 0, Swindon 2. Cambridge up against Oldham now. Cambridge showing some form that they can get promoted. Maybe. I think they're going to continue it. Oldham made a decent start. Solid start. Good enough. I think, though, Cambridge on the day, 2-1 winners. Colchester up against Crewe. Crewe scored 7 goals in midweek. I'm looking at them now to get a few more goals themselves. I'm going to go Colchester 2. I like their forwards. I like their strikers. And I'm going to go for Crewe 2. Crewe needing to bounce back and continue this good start to the season they had until they faced Gillingham. Harrogate up against Crawley. Harrogate started the season very well. It's dipped a little bit. Crawley, vital point last week against Chesterfield. I've got this one as 1-1. Harry McCurdy. Watch out for him. He looks now like he's woken up and this Crawley team have joined him. 1-1 on the day. Cheltenham 0, Accrington 1. I think this is going to be a close game. Two sides that are struggling for goals as of late. So yeah, Cheltenham 0. Accrington 1. And finally, Bromley up against Gillingham. A great game on paper. I so nearly covered this one because it looks to be, as I say, a great game. I'm going to go for 1-1 on this. Some people will think, of course, Gillingham too tough of a test. I think it's going to meet in the middle. I'm going to go for 1-1. Now then, on to League One. How could I not start with Doncaster up against Bradford, the two teams that have got promoted and look like they are meant to go up again. This is a fantastic match. I see it as being a high-scoring game, as have both of their games been as of late. Maybe not Doncaster against Rotherham, but they could have had a few more. And how am I going to call it? I'm going to go for Doncaster 3, Bradford 2. But believe me, this could swing both ways and it could also be a draw. Both sides winning in midweek. Both sides winning last week, of course. Bradford, the 3-2 against Wimbledon. They'll be looking to iron out those mistakes and keep it a bit more tight in terms of the defence. But you're up against the Doncaster side that can't stop scoring and have made, as I say, a fantastic start to the season. Of course, as of Bradford, this to me is such an exciting game. Key player for Doncaster and for Bradford, I'm going to go for two players that I think can unlock this defence and really win the game for their side. For Doncaster, it's going to be Glenn Middleton. Sits in that 10 position, looks to be very solid. Whoever he has playing around him, they'll be feeding off him. He's going to be the man, as I say, to drive his team forward. As for Bradford, the man that impressed me most last week, even though he technically didn't get on the score sheet or an assist, it's got to be Stephen Humphreys. Great start to the season he's made, and if anyone's going to do it for Bradford, I'm looking at him. Great game on paper. Doncaster, Bradford, your fan base, let me know what you think down below. It's very hard to call. As I say, it can go either way. So yeah, let me know in the comments how you see it. Plymouth now, struggling Plymouth up against Stockport. I think it's going to be a close affair. I think Plymouth are going to set up in a very specific way to try and deal with Stockport. It won't matter. I'm going for Stockport 1, Plymouth 0. Another game of no goals for Tom Cleverley's side. Plymouth, of course, last time out, 4-0 loss to Cardiff. Absolutely dismantled. I think they'll improve on it, but I still can't see them scoring a goal. If they can, I will go for the key player to be Tolaj, looking to get his first goal in a Plymouth shirt. If he can, who knows what will happen. I think this Stockport defence is getting better and better. Therefore, I'm just looking at it. I just can't see it happening. If anyone will do it, it will be him. Of course, Ballymumba actually gave himself a decent account against Cardiff, even though they lost 4-0. He could have also got key player, but Tolaj, if he's going to make it happen, it's got to start happening soon. As for Stockport, I'm looking at Jack Diamond. So on that right-hand side, I've obviously got Ferrier and I've got Mothersill. On the left, that's where I think Diamond's going to be so effective in this game. Plymouth will be able to handle the right-hand side, but the left with Jack Diamond cutting in, causing trouble, that's where I think they'll get beat. Of course, Kyle Wootton, I'm expecting him to bully that Plymouth defence as well. So yeah, Wootton, Diamond, Mothersill, that front three is going to be absolutely electric, and it's going to be very difficult for Plymouth to stop. But listen, I'll give them a chance. I'll say 1-0. Finally, we have got Stevenage. Great start to the season they've made. Up against Barnsley. Again, great start to the season that they've made. This, to me, is a game with goals written all over it. Barnsley, apparently not good at home. Let's see how they get on away. They, of course, concede quite a few goals, but they also score a few. So, therefore, I'm going to go for Barnsley 2, Stevenage 2. Another side in Stevenage who are scoring goals. So this, to me, it'll probably one of those games that finishes 0-0 now that I've said this, but I just see this as a 2-2 game, goals in it. And when we talk about goals for Barnsley, it's actually not David McGoldrick who we talk about first. It's, of course, got to be Davis Keeler-Dunn. What a start to the season he's made. I'm not going to go on and say his goals have been superb, but he's been in the right place at the right time. Exactly what you need as a striker. McGoldrick has missed a couple of big chances. Davis Keeler-Dunn, he hasn't. He's going to be the key player for me. I'm looking at him to get yet another goal this weekend. As for Stevenage, Chem Campbell, a very solid player, got a goal last week. He'll now look to build on that. And I think if anyone will in that Stevenage side, I'm looking at him to do so. Stevenage have a lot of quality going forward this season that they may not have had last season. So yeah, Chem Campbell, the standout for me to get the job done. 2-2, and I think that is going to be some game of football. As for the rest of League One, then I'm going to go for Blackpool 1, Luton 2. Blackpool at home, they've been getting better, but Luton a very difficult team to beat, and I think Luton will have enough for all 3 points. And yeah, another loss for Steve Bruce's side. Bolton up against Wimbledon now. I have this as Bolton 2, Wimbledon 1, even though Wimbledon a bit of a surprise package for me this season. Better than I thought they would be. Of course, the mistake that led to the Bradford goal last week, that cost them at least a point. They could have maybe even had 3 on another day. Bolton at home, more than good enough to get the job done, and they do look good going forward. So yeah, Bolton 2, Wimbledon 1. Cardiff postponed in their game up against Burton as well. Just thought I'd mention it. Huddersfield, the informed team that have had the odd blip here and there. Peterborough, the team that just have not got it going. Ferguson, is his time up? Peterborough fans, let me know. It's been a dismal start. Is it now time to pull the plug on Ferguson? I think after this game it might be, because I'm going to go for Huddersfield 4, Peterborough 0. Lincoln up against Wigan. I like this game a lot. I could see it being a 1-1, but I've edged it just to Lincoln to go on and get the winner and get all 3 points. Lincoln and Wigan, of course, both made decent starts, but I think Lincoln will just have a bit too much at home and will get the job done. 2-1 to Lincoln. Port Vale up against Leyton Orient. Port Vale, of course, sat in the relegation zone at the moment. Don't be fooled by that. Leyton Orient, of course, themselves have had a bad 2 games. So I'm going to say that this one's going to finish 1-1. Both sides will take this at the moment, in my opinion. Leyton Orient to stop the rot. Port Vale to build on that win against Birmingham. That's been and gone now. Start raising the performances in the league. Rotherham up against Exeter. I'm going to go for Rotherham 1, Exeter 1. I do see a goal in this game, but I don't see many. Exeter have had a decent start themselves. Rotherham, it's been pretty dismal. I'll go for 1-1, a stalemate on the day. It could also be a 0-0 if I'm going to be honest. I've given them a 1-1 just because no one wants to see a 0-0, do they? And finally, Wycombe, another side that are very much struggling. Mike Dodds, is his time up now? Wycombe fans, you must be worried, because even though there's been some alright performances, the results simply aren't coming. As on the other hand, Mansfield, my favourite team probably in League One so far this season. I love the way they play. They're smashing teams. Are they going to do it again? I think they will. They do concede the odd goal here and there, so I'm going to give Wycombe a goal. But final score, Wycombe 1, Mansfield 3. And that is the end of the EFL preview. Of course, League 1, League 2, as you can tell, massive games this weekend. So many exciting ones that are going to be taking place. I will be back on Sunday with the EFL review to see how my predictions have gone, but also to see what's going on. What are the big moments in League 1 and League 2? And then, of course, next week, back to normal. We've got the Championship there too. So, yeah, a very exciting weekend for League 1, for League 2. I'm very much looking forward to it. I hope you are as well. And as always, I will see you on the next one.